cane field. I started this business in 2022, and the reason for that was because, well, I am a pig farmer myself, and going to the other suppliers to purchase, usually all the time they don't have that feed, they don't have this feed. So I decided I'm coming into this business to bridge that gap. So far, I have done a good job in doing so. When there aren't any feeds on island, I reach that gap, like I said. Endless animal feeds, like I always say, we're not just a supplier that just stays over the counter and take your money and until we see you again. We provide support to the farmers. We visit the farmers, and that we make sure we provide the support that you need. Whatever we can do to assist, we do that.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Lana Athanas Francis, and I'm the founder of Ecla Nova Luxuries. It is a skincare brand located in Dominica, of course, and we make the use of our herbs, botanicals, nut milks, everything that's natural on the island from grown in our rich volcanic soil. So we use these ingredients, naturally grown, organically grown raw ingredients, raw materials to make our products, which we incorporate in our botanical soaps, botanical clay facial masks, aromatherapy candles, and recently we rebranded. So we're in the process of, just getting things together. A year ago, we streamlined to focus on the soaps, and we currently produce 7 soaps, which includes a facial line and an aromatherapy line. So we are going into more specialized skincare and hair care as well, and we are just developing our products. So pretty soon we should have a few things out, a few new products out for sure. We support local farmers. Some of our ingredients, since we streamlined and we are using less, since we streamlined into other products, we are using less extracts right now, and we're going to be moving over to a new set of extracts. So we pretty much grow maybe half of the organic herbs and other botanicals that we use, and we also support local farmers as well, which is important to our production. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. Donnie, you have 3 minutes.
Good morning to all.
Good morning.
And let me say a special good morning to all the youth.
Good morning.
I'm looking forward to the interaction. I'm Dunson DeMille. I'm the perishables manager of Massey Stores. I'm also the secretary of the Caribbean Agribusiness Association, which is CABA. I'm the secretary and a board member for Helen's Daughters in St. Lucia. And I'm also a special advisor for the World University Service of Canada projects in the region. And now they're implementing the SAC project. The headquarters is in Dominica. Okay, I do a lot of work with farmers. I have helped a number of persons start up the business in St. Lucia. I have come and done probably 2 workshops in Dominica, to see how we could work with the farmers and how they could access the high-value markets. So my daily task is dealing with farmers, dealing with produce, dealing with a number of challenges, that comes from the agricultural sector. We are the largest buyers of agricultural produce on the island of St. Lucia. And we have 3 stores in St. Vincent also. We have 14 stores in St. Lucia. So the demand for produce is high. We even import some produce out of Dominica. And I'm hoping we could do a lot more in Dominica to get it to St. Lucia. So let's hope from what we start here, we can break down some barriers to make some of those things happen.
Thank you, Donnie. All right, before we continue, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Lakia Joseph. I am the Parliamentary Secretary or the Junior Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture with specific responsibility for the development of community agro-enterprises or agro-processing and youth in agriculture. And I will be your moderator for today. So if you have any questions, you can always interrupt us as we go along, but we will have a specific Q&A section after. So if you have a question or you have a comment, you can always raise your hand or try to get our attention, and we will address it as we go along because this is a conversation. It's not a monologue. But Mr. DeMille, I would like to begin with you. Do we have any unmet demands in your part of the value chain with scope for growth and viability?
I must say plenty. I mean, when I look at the market, especially in St. Lucia, and even when I travel through the other islands, I think we just stick to a lot of traditional things. Just to give you an idea, in St. Lucia, I've been trying to make them grow yellow tomatoes, the orange tomatoes. You know, everybody just grow the red and they think that's it. We're trying to develop a cherry tomato market. I mean, we are on a journey to increase the production of beets and turnips. And people who know about beets will know the leaves of the beets is even more nutritious than the beet itself. So there's a number of opportunities when you look at that sector that people can move into. Even the crops we grow now, the production systems we have does not match the demand the supermarkets have, right? So there is need to produce even a lot more. So for opportunity, it's endless.
And we're speaking just about St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, or even I travel to a lot of the islands. A lot of the islands, I see the same opportunities. And sometimes we stick to varieties that probably the farmers are accustomed of growing. But there's a lot more scope. Because if you look at your importation, you'll see you're importing a number of products that can be grown on your island. And let's face it, the islands we're importing from, they have summer, autumn, winter, spring, right? We have summer, hurricane season, summer. Right? So when you look at it, there's a lot of opportunity. We have to wake up, smell the coffee, and see how we could overcome the challenges so we could help people learn how to produce some of those crops that the market is waiting for. There's a ready market. It's not you don't have to bust your brain on that.
All right. Thank you. Lana, in agro-processing, what are some of the unmet demands of that market, and what are some of the opportunities and the viability of the agro-processing and skincare market?
Mm-hmm. So at Eclanova Luxuries, we use a lot of extracts, nut milks from the coconuts, aloe. We use aloe as well, the gel from the aloe, and that's just in skincare. However, these extracts and these processed inputs can be used in many things. For instance, they are all food grade, and you can imagine if you're using herbs in your skincare. We make teas, you make teas as well. So there's a lot of unmet demands, and even when we make our extracts, we try to make in sufficient quantities to last us, let's say, over a quarter. But we can make a lot more, you know? And it gives the opportunity to get into another type of business, you know? You can make teas, you can have these leaves as a minimum viable product where you just package the leaves. And that's a big thing globally, right? So it may not mean a lot to us, but out there, people cherish these things. We maybe when we go out in the countryside, we pick bay leaves and broaden, but it's a big thing internationally. and it fetches a lot of a lot of money. So there's a lot that can be done by just selling these or packaging these products as minimum viable products. You don't have anything much to do other than to get a certified label, get your product certified. You go through the necessary sanitization process and everything to deliver that product, and you sell it. So there's a lot. It can be turned. They can be turned into further processed into tea bags. You go out. I'm sure we see a lot of mangoes being wasted in our sister islands, in our countries. Mangoes are all over the place. You go out and then you see on the shelf dried mangoes. And you know the kind of money you could be making from these mangoes. And it's just there, sitting on the road, rotting. And these things fetch a lot of money out there. So there's a lot that can be done. And it's not too much that we have to do to get them out there. So we're literally looking at money on the road. We're literally looking at money. Opportunities that are there that are easily identifiable, and we can make a lot of money from. There are coconuts, you package coconut strips, and you see them slightly salted, and they sell for big money out there. So sometimes we think there's so much that we have to do, and we look for a quick exit strategy because we think it's too much. We have to do so much. But if you just go out there and do the research, everything is there. And there's a lot of money to be made in agro-processing, and we just have to look for it. It's simple. Start with simple production, and then you can migrate it to more complicated ones, which are not very they're cost effective, okay? So there's a lot we can do.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. Mr. Tweed and Kelvin. Kelvin, I can call you young, right? You're a young farmer. Yes, a young farmer. Can you give us a little insight as to some of the opportunities in the field that you are in, and what are some of the unmet demands of that field?
Well, here on island, we have a lot of livestock farmers, and the demand for feeds are very high. Majority of our feeds we import. It comes from Grenada or St. Vincent. And I would order a container of feeds, let's say I get it today, and then I'd have to order next week. I think if someone could go into producing the feeds here on island, that would be something good. It would also keep the money circulating in the economy. So majority of our money would have to go outside. And then also it would also prevent that issue we have of the shortage of feeds here. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tweed, how about you? Is it Tweed? Yes. Yeah.
So in my country, we face that problem also, but there's also the opportunities for processing of livestock. So our abattoir slaughters all meat for retail or for public consumption, but there is that lack of value addition. You can't say go and ask for a brisket off of a cow, or you can't get if you go to a farmer, you might get the hind legs of a lamb, those kind of things. So there's a lot of opportunity to add value to the carcass beyond just cutting and dicing, simple things like that. And I've seen it where we might sell for $14 a pound simply cut, but then that same animal, a portion of his carcass might be $30 a pound. And I personally have experienced that, if you're willing to put in that extra time or knowledge or find a resource to get somebody that can put in that work. We also have the opportunity for technical assistance outside of the Department of Agriculture. If persons can help young and existing farmers to revamp their production systems to suit their size or to suit their labor force, there's opportunity there. You'd have to work out the money in it, what persons can afford, but that is a viable option, especially because we are landlocked nations. We only have so much space. You guys have more acreage than us total, but at the same time, it is only finite. It is finite. It will come to a point where urbanization and agriculture conflict. So if we can go vertically, that is a plus. Or if we can intensify our production systems, that is another opportunity we can do. Those are two things. Also, we have the opportunity to be persons that are outside of the production realm, somebody that can market these products, somebody that can move it around. You might not be the person that's producing it, but you can vouch for their authenticity in the way they produce their animals, and therefore you can make channels for them to get top dollar for it, or for them to just have a voice where they need, so that they can get whatever other resources they need, support to the farmers. That is an opportunity that is there once persons are willing to take it on.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Yes. You can put on your mic.
Okay, good morning again.
Good morning.
Tishon Edwards from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I have one question for Mr. Massey. I can't remember your name, so
Dunstan DeMille.
Yeah. So being a young farmer from St. Vincent, over the years I've approached the business to supply with produce, and I've had a lot of beat around the bush. Maybe I didn't take the right route. It's been a while. I haven't tried anymore because I've switched to being heavily involved in livestock. So most of my products goes to the restaurants and local people, and sometimes the butchers. But I am very much interested in the future to start producing some short crops, etc. And I would like to know how that opportunity for me to, supply Massey store in SVG at least would be made possible. So I can't remember the names. My brother there with the feed, who orders the feed. I think one suggestion you could get into here. As I look through the window coming up the aisle, everywhere is grass. And we overlook that resource. Now, I've been following some farms from Jamaica and other countries, and one sentence or phrase, grass is gold. Because when you feed the animal, it comes to meat, and then meat turns to money. Now, it's not just as simple as it talks. You have to have a proper diet, protein, ration, and all of that. So one of the things that maybe you could invest into is creating fodder banks, which are special plants, monitoring the balanced diet for the animals here, especially the ruminants. I'm from St. Vincent, and I used to buy a lot of feeds, and trust me, it's not economical. Imagine I'm there and it's more cheaper for me, and I'm telling you this. What I switched to is to plant specific forages like the Lucina, the mulberry, which are high in protein as the legumes, and then the dwarf elephant. I see you have some elephant grass at the riverbeds. There's a lot. I wish I had that opportunity here, there. We could probably exchange some grass for feed. But yeah, these are things that we could look into to cut the cost in the whole chain of production where animals are concerned. And to me, I think the animals, it's less stress, because I've had incidents where I fed my animals with these back feeds and I lose some of the best pedigree animals through because I didn't monitor properly the amount of water given and all of that. So through bloating and all of this, I hate that stress. So I rather deal with forage, natural grass. When they eat that, it's very easy to digest and stuff like that. Adding to strengthen what Mr. Sinkitz said, it's something I've been looking into lately, because in St. Vincent, the butchers just is like a chop and go kind of thing, and people just, buy. But I've been doing some research where you have special cuts. As a matter of fact, it was last week I was talking to a business partner in England to have me some special saws, meat cutters, and the tables and so on. So that's something we're working on. But information is needed, and the education is needed to go along with the equipment. You don't want to just have equipment and just have them there sitting. And I don't know if you have access to any, I mean, the media, the YouTube and so on is there, but if you could have some hands-on access to information, special cuts, and stuff like that, because this is something I'm interested in. As a livestock farmer, I want to be able to produce the meat and add some value. So sooner or later, you'll see meat coming from Bold Waves Farm, packaged and seasoned, special seasoning. You just bust the seal and throw it in your pot. You understand? Stuff like that. So I am very much interested in this whole discussion, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else has a question at the back?
Hi, good morning. My name is Shania Harris from St. Kitts. I'm bad with name also. But a guy from St. Vincent touched on the points I was about to make. If buying feed is really profitable, because I studied agriculture, and yes, farmers know how to farm to a certain degree, but they don't know really how the nutrition content needed for the animals. So that's what I was about to say. Yes, we could recommend not buying feed and try to be natural and etc. But if we don't know what grass and etc. to give the plants, it won't make any sense. So education is a big point for the farmers. But to Mr. Massey, a big problem in St. Kitts for supermarket-wise, many times I don't think is that the farmers not producing, is that when they go to the supermarkets, if supermarket make promise okay, I'll take this amount, that amount, and many times we have big farmers, they partner with the market, the supermarket say, okay, I'll take this amount of cabbage, and then when the farmers produce and flood the market, they didn't accept it. They still brought in the cabbage or brought in the produce where they promised they would take. So there's no accountability on the supermarket side. And the question I was about to ask is, you said there's basically an untapped market. What advice would you give farmers, what to plant or maybe what to produce? What advice would you give farmers? Because I don't think, on my side, St. Kitts side, the production is the problem on our side. I think it's more of the marketing, getting the produce out, whether it's to other vendors or out of the country. So what advice as a supermarket, as someone in the marketing sector, would you give the farmers how to market their produce?
Okay, thank you. Question at the front. Last question.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Victor Wade, Antigua and Barbuda. I hope you all have your pens and pencils.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make some points here. Okay. I'm not going to just point fingers at the panel. I'm also going to point fingers at the farmers. What my friend from St. Vincent said, he approached a supermarket chain, and he got a lot of runaround, and he basically gave up. One thing I realized, not just in Antigua and Barbuda, but throughout the Caribbean, farmers are not consistent. That is one of the biggest things. Supermarkets, even my friend from the hotel there can attest, the consistency of farmers, the quality of the produce. You know the phrase, all for one, one for all. If one individual goes up to demand something, either from government, from the private sector, from the hotels, it doesn't matter. You will be turned away. But what happens if a group of you go? Do you know the change and the impact that can cause? Look at the world that is running today. Farmers that are in the US and the UK, once they don't agree with the policy, what do? They block the roads. They dump manure in the streets. And then change happens. One person cannot do it. So I'm glad that the headline for this is Youths in Agriculture. My friend there said that there's a need for a lot of produce. I've seen it throughout the Caribbean, things that can be grown. He made a specific point where he says, where there's what? Rain, autumn, something like that.
Summer, hurricane season.
No, I told somebody recently, we have 2 seasons. We have the dry season and the rain season, right? There is a misconception that you cannot grow certain, let's stay on the tomatoes, certain tomatoes during the rainy season. Get that out of your heads. There are different varieties you can invest in to keep the market going. Farm cooperatives, I think my friend over there is a part of one. Joint cooperatives. That's one way how you guys can get a lot of help, a lot of investments, not just locally, but the foreign investments as well. There are organizations out there just want to give away money. And the Caribbean is missing out on a lot of it. So continue form the groups, continue form the cooperatives, and you will see change. Now, stretching on what my friend said again, it is the culture that we were growing up in. The culture of only planting one type of crop, one variety of vegetables. That culture needs to be broken. I'm not saying that it's not a bad culture, because we learned a lot from it, but it needs to be transformed. We cannot continue with the same old things, with the same old issues, which a friend of mine said yesterday. It's like we talk, but years down the line, where's the change? It starts with you. That's what I have to say to the farmers. Now let me turn my attention to the panel. Starting from the hotel. What linkage or what are you doing for the agro and the agro-tourism industry? What advancements or what reaching out are you doing where helping the farmers in bringing in more, as you said, you support highly fresh fruits and vegetables. This is where the farmers and the hotels and the private sector need to work hand in hand, being consistent. What linkage is there between GAP, good agriculture practices here in, not just in Dominica, but throughout the entire Caribbean? Are you guys practicing good agriculture? Are you GAP certified? That is a big thing going around right now. Because if you are not GAP certified, the hotels will not take your produce. The supermarkets will not take your produce. You might have an ID, yes, to say you are a farmer, but where is your GAP certification? What does Bureau standards play also in this? Where is the linkage between hotel, private, Bureau standards, and farmers? Because for me, Bureau standards and GAP goes hand in hand. Where livestock is concerned, education, research, plan, implementation, and again, consistency. There is potential in growing, harvesting, and creating your own feed. Each country is different in topography, in whatever it may be, it is different. But one thing I realized that Dominica has is lush greenery. There is feed out there. What is the Ministry of Agriculture doing? I think I heard the Honorable Skerritt said that machineries and certain implementation are tax-free, which is good. Take advantage of that. Do your research, bring in the tools needed to turn these forages into pellets for feed. This is a lucrative business. Don't miss your opportunity. I'm sorry if you make somebody else get that. I'm so sorry. There is opportunity. When I was studying ECIAF, there was a young lady taking the forage from off of the school compound, combining it with the necessary proteins and creating a pellet for local feed. I hope she did well because that was a couple of years ago. It can happen. Go get yourself educated in this. Do your research.
All right. Go ahead. No, I was just asking, you have another question, another point, you have 40 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Basically, the culture needs to be changed, the consistency. Oh, one thing I see my lady there from, oh God, sorry, repeat again what you do. Sorry.
Agro-processing?
Agro-processing. Mm-hmm. What I would love to see is a doctor or herbal doctor on this board as well, because there are a lot of things in agriculture that can be used for herbal use. I remember in Antigua there was a Rastafarian who has cancer, and last time I saw him, he was on the bed like a vegetable. We came and we gave him some tips using locally produced food, tomatoes, soursop, the extra virgin olive oil. And within 2 weeks, the man back on the road, jumping, happy, thanking us, the agriculture extensionist, are the best thing we ever did for him. There is potential in agriculture that you need to take in hand. I'm telling you, don't miss this opportunity. That's it.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Donnie, did you take note of some of the questions that are okay? So you can go ahead first, and then Mr. Raphael will go with you.
Okay, my friend from St. Vincent, I know he asked how he would be able to sell produce. Before you leave, I'll take your number, and I will actually give it to the person so they will contact you. Okay, we are looking for people in St. Vincent. I've been in St. Vincent twice, I think last year, on that journey, meeting with some of the farmers, actually going on the field and, to try to develop the relationship. Because I don't know if you all know about St. Lucia, but in St. Lucia, we have a model that I haven't seen anywhere in the world, how we deal with the agricultural sector. We give our farmers loans. There's no interest, no deposit, right? We 285-758-285-2403, and you'll get in touch with me. So I think the lady spoke about, the lady that's hiding in the back there,
Yes.
spoke about some of the supermarkets, when they produce the product, they don't take it, the supermarkets don't take the product from them. I will never support that. You understand? Because at the end of the day, like us in St. Lucia, our first priority is to buy local. Whatever we can get local, we'll subsidize it. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying that because I hear. If St. Lucia have cabbage, whether the ministry give us a license or not, we will buy the local cabbage. You understand? Because the local cabbage, number one, sells better. Number two, we'll be putting money back in those people's pocket to come back and shop at our stores. Right? And I think you were asking, how do you market your produce? Produce is something, you don't have to do much marketing for produce, Just concentrate on being consistent, like the gentleman said, and make sure the quality you want to represent you is that's what you take to the market all the time. There are certain things you would have to do your selection because they would go to a certain market segment, but your key markets, like a retailer, people choose. So if you go by the market and they give you a hip, one with a cutlass lash, they'll tell you that's the price of the hip, you have to take it. The supermarket do not have that luxury. That goes to your shrink. And if you continue doing that, in the first place, you shouldn't buy it because you're going to lose money. I think the gentleman spoke about farmers not being consistent. Yes. I agree with you in a certain way, but in another thing, let me tell you. A lot of the farmers, I deal with over 7,000 farmers in St. Lucia, right? A lot of the farmers have small plots of land. When you grow things from the same family on that land consistently, you know what happens to you? Your production starts to decrease, the pest and diseases transfer, there's certain times of the year. So farmers have a lot of challenges. And I'm agreeing with you another way because I think that is where the extension service is supposed to come in to sit down with that farmer and tell him, okay, when it's that time of year, here's what you should be doing. If the farmer don't want to take that advice, that's him. But you give it to them and tell them, listen, we need to move from an open field to a shaded greenhouse that time of year because of ABC. And we need to move to that crop. But farmers have a lot of challenges, and I don't know what you all face in your country now, but St. Lucia pre-dialasany is a big, big issue. And sometimes farmers rush into harvest, and they harvest at the wrong stage of maturity. They lose everything. We, with our loan program, if a farmer have a challenge, once they talk to us, even you have a year to pay the loan, we can extend it to 2 years, whatever. So the objective not really to get the money from you, but it's a revolving fund. We need to get the money from you. By the end of the day, we respect that because you invest your money, you go and you grow produce, you come and sell it to me, and you give me 7 days again. I sell it, I make profit on it. Let me tell you, I treasure you, the farmer, because without you, I don't have a job. Right? And I heard you speak about the certification. When our program started in 2007, it was supposed to be the Good Agricultural Practices Certification Program. Mm-hmm. Somehow it ended up registration. That's something we're trying to solve, but we made a bold step because we wanted farmers to increase better the quality. We pay 22 cents extra for every farmer who have gone through the program. So once they meet the standard, if you don't meet the standard, we reserve the right not to pay you that extra and send you back. All is not lost, show you what are the things you're supposed to be doing. But we pay 22 cents extra to every single farmer who meet that standard, okay, as an incentive.
Thank you, Donnie. Mm-hmm. Kelvin, grass is gold. Tell us about that.
Grass is gold. Well, like the gentleman said, we have a lot of grass here, and that's something that can be used, as a substitute for the feeds. So I think that, and he also made mention about this young lady taking up crops to make pellets, right? That's an opportunity that the young people can get into, even myself. But another thing he said is that if, for instance, I go to an institution to seek funding for equipment and materials to do that, perhaps they might deny me. So then, like he said, we need to come together as a group, because whereas they deny me, a group of us, they might not deny that.
Good. So, Mr. Raphael, the young man from Antigua and Barbuda made mention of farmers being inconsistent, but also young farmers getting into groups and cooperatives. And then he asked the question, what are you, as one of the leading entrepreneurs in the tourism sector who promotes organic and agro-tourism, what are you doing in that sector to provide opportunities?
Well, our hotel model is a little different than the traditional. But I can speak to that. Even in the design concept, it was designed to partner with the agricultural sector because we don't have the sun, sand, and sea that we have in Dominica as you have in Antigua. How do we attract visitors? Well, we attract them by heritage and culture, and a lot of our heritage and culture is linked to our agricultural economy. So it was important for us to incorporate the agricultural aspect of our way of life into not just to buy the food from the farmers, but into the experience that we share with our guests, which in fact enhances the experience that we have to offer. So in some ways, we end up paying farmers 3 times for the same product. And why I say that is because we do farm tours, and the farmers get paid for the tour money. In addition to that, when they do the farm tours, they eat the prepared food on the farm. And so you get to add value to your product by, if you serve it raw, it's $5 a pound, but if you cook it, it ends up being maybe $20 a pound. So you get that. And in addition to that, we still end up buying produce from that farmer. So the farmer eats 2 and 3 times from the same product. And the cost of farming is very expensive. The cost of doing business in the Eastern Caribbean, because we have a very small economies of scale, whether in tourism or other areas, is very challenging to begin with. And the way you make your profit is to reduce your operating expenses and to increase the value of what it is that you have to offer. So you need to, there's not much room to reduce your expenses. That's very difficult. Labor is very difficult to get. It's not reliable. There's not much you can do to reduce your cost of inputs, really. In other islands, you even have water issues. We don't have too much. Dominicans are spoiled. We have plenty surplus of water. We complain about Dowasco raising the rates, but my God, I'm sure the Antiguans would love to get our raised Dowasco rates. But I say that then the other side of it is we have to find, and you have to find ways to increase the value of what it is that you're selling. Either, as my friend from Massey says, start looking at non-traditional products. You have to look at some of those, and some of those are quite sisters to what it is that you grow. But for my restaurant, I need to have variety to be able to sell, and we do stick with the local, but we do it. It would certainly help us provide a better product for our clients if you were proactive and you produce some of these things. Yeah, and again, with respect to the farm tours, a lot of you on the other islands, you get a lot of cruise ships too. How many of you have farm tours available to the cruise ships where you can share the experience of the heritage and way of life of your island with these people? Listen, everybody now that's traveling want wellness, they want authentic experiences, they want, it's a story that has to be told. If you guys don't know, that's what tourism has become. The sun, sand, and sea is a thing of the past, and the Caribbean is becoming less and less competitive because we cannot compete with Latin American markets that have better economies of scale that came into the market later. We used to have a monopoly on tourism in the Caribbean. We don't anymore. And then if you go further out, you go to the Asian market where the cost of traveling there is cheaper from the United States than it is to come to the Caribbean. So we're really losing our competitive advantage. And unless tourism is able to marry and partner with you in agriculture, we're both going to suffer. But it does present an opportunity for both of us. And on a personal, individual level, go find a hotel somewhere. And listen, guys, I hear some complaining and whining. You guys are entrepreneurs. I'm an old head. I'll be straight with you. Don't complain. Don't complain. Everybody got their problems, okay? You guys aren't consistent. Don't complain about, Massey and thing. Put yourself out. Knock on the door. If it don't open the first time, knock. Eventually, something's gonna happen. Find out what it is. Don't take things personal, and see how you can improve and get in the door and start with that relationship and build on it. That's what we did with the farmers when we first opened. We ended up loaning them to get greenhouses and helping them get going because they didn't know about the business of farming. They used to grow and supply Dexia. That's very different than me needing eggs every single day and needing tomatoes and lettuce every single day. So we had to teach the farmers business before they were able to provide us with what we need, and now we have that. So you guys need to marry Find a hotel somewhere. There's a hotel here that's waiting for you. Don't wait for them to come looking for you. They don't know you exist. Go to them and tell them what you have to offer, and spread that island wide. The islands need to do some of the twinning with tourism, and at the OECS level, we really need to marry the products, because other than that, I say we're in for trouble down the road.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raphael. Do we have any other questions? Okay. Zephyr? Yes, the seafood mistress.
That's me. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, especially to the panel. I appreciate your feedback. However, Mr. Kelvin here of Endless Feeds, you know, I like sea breeze, and I saw this one, and I feel a different breeze coming from this end over there. And that is because, Mr. Kelvin, I understand, I'm very happy that you did like all of your market analysis and all of that, but I would like to introduce you to potential customers for your business. And I would like to highlight a niche market that is growing, and that is with our aquaculture farmers here on the island. So the Fisheries Division and the Ministry had encouraged persons to go into aquaculture. And the difficulties that these aquaculture farmers have is that they are unable to get feed for their prawns on the island. And so I would really like you to venture out into the procurement of feed specifically for aquaculture farmers. At present, they are forced to use the chicken feed, and this has a lot of disadvantages for them. One, the pellets sink very easily and they break apart, so this is a loss for the farmers. In addition to that, no one is ordering that feed. And then they are trying their best in getting the prawns to the size that they want them. But because of the feed not meeting the necessary nutrients and protein levels that they need to develop at the rate that they're supposed to develop, they have that disadvantage. And it's not just them ignoring their farms, it's them just not having the necessary feed that they require for those animals. So I'd really like you to venture into that. I know that you're a 2-year-old business. I can feel the fresh air. And I know that you will listen to me and follow the plights. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why don't these guys come together and order the feed for themselves?
That too.
No, but I mean, you know, I'm just saying, to me, that's a no-brainer as a business. That's what you do. And you don't seem to, because you have a situation, you seem to impose it on this person. That's not solving that problem. So if I were you, I would encourage these farmers or whoever it is, he doesn't make the feed. He's not going to be able to make that feed. He has to import it. Why don't they just directly import it? The cost for them would be less. Come together and import the feed. Yeah, that's my suggestion.
Mr. Raphael, I really understand what you're saying. We have encouraged farmers to do so, but he already has the linkage. And since they have not been able to cup themselves together, I like to say we're a special cultured set of people, and we know how it is when you start off new and you're trying to perhaps be up there or compete. I totally get what you're saying. In a perfect world, if everything were working as it should for us, that would have been the case. We tried shooting that out, it did not work, and so I just looking to give Mr. Kelvin some business, and I see him smiling there. So thank you, Kelvin.
Okay, we have a fish. Yes, we have a fish farmer at the back from the east. That's you, blue shirt. Yes.
Let me I just want to answer Mr. Sam Raphael on the coming together and order feed, because I do pigs and we did that once, come together and order a container of feed. The issue with that is you have to order a full container, that is 900 to 1,000 bags of feed. When I order, let's say 200 bags of feed, after a month, the feed's spoiling. You have a problem with storage. You have endless issues with that. You can get rodents. It becoming a bigger issue than you go to the store and buy what you need right now, because you're not going through that 200 one time. You have to store that and everything. So that is an issue. So it's better that I go to him and buy, if it's 50 bags I need for this month, than I have 200 bags and it's going to spoil and waste.
Yeah, just to add on a point Seth made, sorry. Yeah, I think that's a great idea that you should maybe implement looking into prawn farm feedings, because I'm maybe the only prawn farmer there right now. And my voice alone, yeah, I really do have no support right about now, because on island we maybe have like 3 serious farmers that are really into production, and I just there for 1 year now. I just started off, and well, the feed on the other hand, I have the right feed for the prawns, but I don't have no prawns, the larvae, the baby prawns. So basically, what we need to develop is the habitat where you can create the larvae and have it accessible more to the farmers that are already here. Because us alone, we can't even supply. I cannot supply my market, for sure. Me alone can never do it. I need like 20 other farmers up my side and another 100 wherever, because the market is really there. And yeah, so it's just a matter of coming together and putting that habitat back in full swing, make it effective, get the proper feeding for the larvae and the proper, whatever you need. Thank you.
All right. We had a question from Grenada on this side.
It's not really a question. It's
Oh,
more
comment.
of a comment.
Okay.
One of the things that I've noticed, I have been seriously involved in agriculture for the last 3.5 years. And one of the things that I've noticed is that we as farmers do not understand the importance of branding and marketing. As a young farmer, I have been one of the few in my community to utilize social media to my advantage by using it to promote my farm and myself and my brand. Earlier this year, I was able to secure 3 contracts, not even going out to look for the contracts, but they actually came to me because of my social media posting, the brand and what I stand for, showing persons these different stages that I take to produce my crops. I was able to secure a contract with one of the largest supermarket chains in Grenada and one of our most renowned restaurants in St. Andrews and St. Patrick's, so both branches. And it was because of how I produce my videos, the things that I do on Facebook, the things that we stand for. Quality is one of our watchword. And one of the managers said to me, she have been following me for a while, and she noticed that quality is one of the important things that we speak about. And from the reviews on our Facebook page, they can tell that the importance of quality to the customers. So I would like to encourage us as farmers to understand the importance of branding and also marketing yourself. We have social media that we can use to our advantage. Most times the farmers in my community say that I post and encourage Pridia Lasny, but I post to show the different stages, the process we go through, and if we understand if we understand the importance of doing that, maybe we would understand why, they would understand why I do what I do.
Thank you. We have a question on this side. Comment? Question.
Are working, man? Oh, okay. Yeah. We had a discussion about the consistency of farmers and so on, like how some farmers are consistent, and a solution was brought up about the extension officers could play a part. You know what I mean? But I feel like all that was coming back to governance. You check, and governance was a conversation we had yesterday afternoon, and we talking about interaction, but I feel our interaction was very limited yesterday. And a lot of questions was asked. A few questions was asked yesterday and really didn't get a response as to like sorting out certain issues I feel that is relevant to the young people, if you understand what I mean. And me now, Miss Minister, was not aware that you're involved so much in all of this agriculture thing and whatnot, and you know. So I want to just pose the question to you again, because if all of that is an issue that the extension officers probably not being proactive to check the farmers out and tell them the certain things that need to be done to facilitate them in certain seasons and whatnot, and whatever the case is. And probably they're lacking certain resources or certain things to do so. It come back to the governance and still the point of the budget. Like the budget conversation and all of that, to me, with the missing monies and all them kind of a thing there, don't you think that those monies that are not spent, when I mean missing money, it's not like I saying anybody's stealing money, it just have a lot of unaccounted monies that are unaccounted for. And I feel like with those monies that are missing, I feel a lot can be done for the sectors or the people them that need to do the work and like put themselves, because the extension officer, I can't really blame the extension officers when they have a lack of resources, a lack of certain things to get the job done, and farmers still have the lack of support from the government when funds and things are not distributed evenly and equally to everybody. And I feel like if all the money was there in its full optimal capacity, I feel everybody could benefit. So I feel like we need an answer based on governance. And I don't know why you're saying that, Mr. Raphael, but you should let she answer a question. You feel me?
No.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what exactly is the question you're asking me?
Oh, my question to you is, what can be done to like rectify rectify or be more transparent about what happened with the extra monies that were not allocated to the sector? Why was those money not allocated, or how they can be allocated since they wasn't spent? How they can now be spent to actually help the extension service? Because I doesn't hear you speaking about it, and you're talking about agriculture for youth, agriculture for this, and I find all that can help the youth, all that can help the extension officers, but I still see nothing is being done to access those funds or try to make a difference. That is my point.
Okay, first of all, I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to moderate the session.
Why?
Listen. I'm not here to answer questions about monies that were not allocated for, and yes, that's not my jurisdiction. That's not my jurisdiction, so I will not be responding to your question. Listen to me. I'll not be responding to your question right now because I'm not here to answer questions about budget and monies that were not allocated for. I'm here to facilitate the session. If that is a conversation that you would like to have and questions that you would like answers for, that can be done in a separate forum. But as of now, listen to me. This conversation is about the panelists and you posing your questions to your panelists based on our conversation that we're having, opportunities for youth in agriculture. I'm not going to respond to questions about finances and budgeting and monies that were not allocated for. So if that's a conversation that you'd like to have outside of this forum, then we can do so. But as of now, I'll not be responding to your question. It's questions that I can answer, but not in this forum. So if you have another question for your panelists, you are free to do so. We have 3 more minutes, Alice. 3 more minutes. So if that's a question you'd like to have outside of this forum, no problem. But I'll not be responding to your question right now. Thank you very much. Any other question? 3 minutes we have, right, Alice? Okay. Question from our guy from St. Jude.
Not a question I have, no, but I just have a complaint that I see happening with me as a farmer. Us as a farmer in Dominica, you understand? Because I seen a lot of food wasting in Dominica, like a lot of dashings, a lot of yams, a lot of mangoes just sitting on the side of the road for real. And why is it wasting, you may ask? Because I feel that I go into fresh market and I'm telling them I have like 8 bags of dashing, and they would tell me bring it. And when I bring it, they will say they will still choose what they want. Everything will not be perfect. So it's not us that making it how it is. It's not us that making it have holes in it as well. So if it's that, then I will just rather. And another thing is, let's say the market price of it is $7. They want to give it to us at $3. So I will rather have my product go on the side of the road and sell it, make a certain amount of money, and then when I know I make back my money, I will go and sell it to the markets. And also, Why I go and sell it at $7 is because you have, let's say, an acre of dashing. You have to have maybe 2 or 3 men come in there every 3 months because they say you have to clean dashing twice. You understand? Nobody don't want to work for $50. Everybody all laborers don't want $100 now. So I have to look back to make back to my profit. So I think that in Dominica and maybe in the other OECS countries as well, that the markets should have a certain, not like a certain price range, but if it's $7, a standard price to sell to buy the produce from the farmers. That's just all I have to say.
Thank you. Kelvin? No, Kelvin. Tweed?
I'll address your question because I hear the passion and I can understand the sentiment, but the gentleman from Massey would have spoken before about the good agricultural practices, so that standardizes produce. If you say they're picking out, chances are they're looking for the best, whether it is size or quality, because they know what their clientele would want. So if you know that is what they want, give them what they want, and what they don't want, you juggle it. Find a processor that wants it. The hotels do chips. There was 1, 2, maybe 3 persons at the trade show yesterday that do powders, that do flour. See if you could get into that market, penetrate that so that you know. You still control your money. Once you know your cost of production, chances are you're not going to lose. At bare minimum, you don't have spoilage. So you could go again. If not, you plant them back, because I'm sure those calms could come again to use. Instead of, you can't have it as a back and forth, you ain't getting what you want. If you ain't getting what you want, you got to find a way around it.
But then again, is the linkage. We don't have much linkage in Dominica. Not much people doing
But this is
what
the
you're talking
opportunity
about.
for it. You had about 2, 3 persons doing powder, doing flour. You have persons in this room, I sure somebody else go dasheen or know somebody who just use dasheen. You got to apply yourself, real talk.
Yes, thanks.
30 seconds.
Again, that brings me back to the point I made. All for one for all. A price regulation, right? Now, the farmers control that, not the government. Y'all need to realize that the farmers control the prices. Something that I realize with farmers, if farmer A has dashing and selling it for, let's say, $7 a pound, farmer B needs to get it off. So he's selling it cheaper than you. That's the problem right there. You're going to end up with spoilage, but now you have to use your head. What are you going to do with the extra you have, or what you cannot get sold? That is why, again, cooperatives, we need to come together. Once it is you can regulate the prices, farmer A need a farmer B can't go outside of that. Farmers don't realize the power. Y'all don't realize the power y'all have now. You guys have a lot of power that can change and implement policies. Take it. Don't be blind to it, because by the end of the day, y'all put them in power. They did not put themselves in power. Remember that. Use the opportunity and the power y'all have. Form cooperative, because you alone can't do it, my brother. Remember that. All right.
Okay, we'll take one more comment and a question from Nelsha, and then we'll do our wrap up. Yes, go ahead.
About the cooperative, I feel like you're kind of putting the blame on the farmers. I'm on both spectrum. I'm an extension officer and also a farmer. So from the cooperative aspect, in St. Kitts we have a cooperative, a farmer cooperative, consortium, and there's like high producers, like the top producers in St. Kitts. So the farmer group, and I find that sometimes we have a challenge accessing different stuff when it's financial, like going to the banks and etc. Even importing seeds. How it is at the department, there's a seed list where you could import seeds from. However, those farmers are very experienced and they have the knowledge to know, okay, this company might not be the best company for them for certain varieties. They might suggest other company However, that company might not be on the list, and that's a problem they have it also. You're saying different varieties and etc. But when we, as a farmer, as a group, come to the department saying, okay, I understand you have a list, but these 3 companies I would like to order seeds from because one is more economical for me and I get the variety I need, but there's a pushback. Also, duty and etc. When I order seeds or the group order seeds, I want to order machineries and stuff like that, it's very expensive for them, even as a group, because even if they get a little discount or duty, discount is, like it's very small. Exactly. So you can't put the blame on the farmers. The farmers are trying, but I feel that there's a gap, like the department or the government need to step in. A farmer, we know how to produce. That's the best we could do. It's not an excuse, but you have to be realistic. That's the best we could do at sometimes. Sometimes we just need a middleman to market for us. It's either a private person or it could be institutional from the government aspect. We need help, and that's the truth. We as farmers can produce, market, process everything in one. We are just, that's job opportunity on the government side. So we can't do everything. So the government needs to step in. We know what the issues are, and it's so much we can do as a farmer, and that's just being realistic.
Okay, thank you very much. Nelsha, you can give us your question in 10 seconds. That's a very good point. Go ahead.
Hi. So it's not a question, it's actually like a comment.
A comment.
Now, a farmer and an agro-processor, so I do composite flour. So I take the raw material and I turn it into a value addition product. Now I do dashing, green banana, plantain, etc. Now I heard them speaking about the good agriculture practices. I had the opportunity to be in trainings and workshops. I've been trained in that area, pesticide management, food safety, first aid. I've also had the opportunity where I've been to seminars and training, and they have given us opportunities specifically for women in agriculture where you can get loan, and the requirements for the loan, it is very simple. So I do in fact meet those requirements, and I know a lot of women in agriculture in Dominica meet those requirements based on specific areas they have. Now, if you're not a woman in agriculture, let's suppose you're a guy or you're older farmer, I know that at bank, they actually have loans that you could access, and the requirements might be different from those at NDFD.
8 Bank is here, by the way.
Oh, my bad, sorry. Now, in terms of making the flour, no, because the persons, there's a demand for it, but I can't meet that demand. So I've had to not post anything on my social media platform, because while persons are asking for those flours, I can't meet the demand. Not in the sense that I'm not getting the local material, but because of the equipments that I have. My equipments are not enough, and then the equipment I have, I can't produce the volume that is needed to supply the country. Now, in terms of Massey's store, he said that, okay, I could get the opportunity to maybe market my products on different Caribbean islands. I can do it international. However, some of the standards and some of the protocols the requirements that you need for you to meet those international markets, it is very expensive. For example, Bureau of Standards in Dominica, if you were to go to Massey's store, you would need that nutritional value on your product. And one nutritional value is over $2,000+ just for one product. So that makes it very difficult for agro-processors to meet that demand for international markets. So I'm not sure how exactly or what they can do to address that issue, but that's the issue I'm facing as an agro-processor right now. And in terms of lack of equipment or the necessary equipment that I would have, even if I were to import it myself, yes, I can get duty-free, but at some point in time, we have to find a way where we can either subsidize the cost or put some measures or something in place to address those issues.
Okay, thank you very much. Blanford, I know you had a comment along the same lines of Nelsha, but I think that's a conversation that we will continue. But we have to wrap up now. We have Dexia, we have Aid Bank, we have some of our private sector people like JD's Naturals and Be Natural, and our financial expert right there. But I would like to thank you very much for your participation, and I would like you to give yourselves a round of applause. It was a very good conversation, a very candid conversation. My guy at the back there, I think we will have a conversation right after, so I can answer your questions. To our panelists, I would like to thank you very much for the information, the insight, and the advice that you have given to us today. And I'm sure this is a conversation that we will continue. So we've heard about opportunities from the top to the bottom of the value chain. And I'm sure there's something that you've taken away today. I'm sure there's somebody's number that you have to get today to continue the conversation and the business and to spread the opportunity. So I really want to thank all of you for being here with us today. As young farmers, we are not the future, but we're the present. So let us continue to do what we're doing. Let us take advantage of the opportunities. Challenges will come, and there will always be challenges. No matter how much money you have or you get for agriculture, you will always have challenges. But you have to figure out ways of overcoming those challenges, taking advantage of the opportunities, and making the best of what we have and what we can do. So thank you very much. And my name is Lakia Joseph. I was your moderator for today. Thank you for having me.